All right, we're live, guys. What's going on, man? How's the weekend?
Hey,
In-
man.
Incredible, except for the Falcons, which we'll talk about plenty here. Hey, first, I want to thank everybody for being here. If you're like, hey, this is new, what's going on, Dukes and Bell? What are you guys doing? We're going to be doing this a few times a week, diving in and giving you a little behind the scenes of what we do, and more importantly, giving you a little bit of a different perspective. So we do and will have an enormous show for you today, starting at 2:00. All right, so make sure you're there 2 to 6. 92.9 the game. But as far as the weekend, Day, I'm glad you asked. Big O's here. By the way, happy birthday to your son. Oh, happy
Thank
birthday.
you. Yeah, Franklin is 3 years young today, so had a nice
Happy
little party
birthday,
over the weekend.
Franklin.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
Nice.
he's at daycare right now, living it up with his classmates. Had a party yesterday at the park. So no, it was good, fun, festivities, fellowship, all that good stuff. So then came home and watched the Falcons lose, which sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was telling Oren, man, I know we're just starting off the video aspect. We're going to have to clean up that backdrop, man. Looks like you're in a hostage video.
So yeah, we still have rooms in the house where we haven't quite moved in all the way yet. Just kind of give you a heads up. There are boxes over there in the corner. There are
Transitional
boxes over here in
period.
this corner. So this was supposed to be like my little man room slash TV room slash game room, but it has been commandeered by my son's toy
Gotcha.
horses and Legos. So yes,
Oh, it's just beginning, my friend. It's
yeah.
just beginning.
Yeah. Well, moving in never is. I mean, once you're moved in, you're still not moved in. So,
No, it's just let's put stuff here, let's put stuff there. So, but this is. Yeah, this is the most quiet room in the house right now, so we'll take that.
well, look, fellas and ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys again for checking us out here on YouTube. The bottom line is we are 0-1. I'm talking about our Falcons. And look, we got a lot to dive in at 2:00, and we certainly will. But one of the aspects that we were talking about amongst ourselves, and we'll just share this because this is what this is about. We were talking about after the Bijan touchdown, which got off to a great start, and Mike being there, the crowd. First of all, big shout out to Atlanta fans. Falcon fans were in full effect, man. Like everybody that was at the game was ready. I think the energy was where it needed to be. And then we come out and you score, and then it's like, boom. All right, look, we're about to explode. It felt like, Mike, we were going to go score 30 points.
Yeah, man. The play from Bijan just electrifies the stadium. That's the loudest we've heard it in a while. And then you get to stop, and all of a sudden, man, look, defense gets them off the field. We get the ball right back, and you're saying, holy cow, this is going to be our day. We're off and rolling. All the moves in the offseason have worked out. And then, unfortunately, it just fizzled. And there's a lot of aspects to get into this. Look, the Buccaneers had something to say about this. We knew with Elijah Wilkinson, we're going to have a hard time running the football. But, Carl, I thought the stubbornness of Zach Robinson trying to keep with the run game and maybe, I don't know, Algier. I don't think even Algier, who's like a bowling ball, can get anything going when Vita Vea is just grabbing all that space in the middle of the line.
Yeah, our inability to run the ball was really one of the big side stories yesterday. Look, everybody wants to talk about the end, and we will. Everybody wants to talk about the drive of 18 plays, and we will. But the side story is this is year 2 of our offensive coordinator in Zach Robinson. If I were to tell you right now or ask you, hey, we know exactly how he operates and what he wants to do and situational football, we feel like, hey, we know him well enough, like he's going to be successful. You can say that about Andy Reid. You can say that about Sean McVay. You can say that about Kyle Shanahan. I can't say that about Zach Robinson right now.
No.
So year 2, game 1 was a fail, simply because of the way things played out. And Mike, when you're trying to run plays, misdirection, you're trying to do quick hitters, all that stuff doesn't work when I don't have to worry about the run. So I felt like he was in a zone that like he had to come out of. And this is part of the discussion today, guys. It's Dukes and Bell, Day, our executive producer, obviously, Oren, our man behind the board, our engineer who helps us run everything. And, when we talk about this football team, it's like this has been one of the questions. And Mike kept saying, I don't know what Zach Robinson is. Well, okay.
Still don't know.
Week 1, are you willing to tell me that you feel good about the offensive coordinator and the way the game flowed? Forget about the 20 points.
Right.
How the game flowed. Mike, there was a time in the stadium where everybody's like, well, what are we doing?
Yeah, I didn't like the play calls. And the other thing is Drake London now, we may not have Drake London for next week. We'll talk about that later this week on Dukes and Bell. But when Drake went out, it seems like on that last drive, Pitts gets more involved. And I just, in the stands, and maybe you guys felt the same way, Day-Day, or and Carl, that Pitts had a role to play. You and I said it all week, Carl, leading up to the game. And it's all of a sudden, and I understand they got chemistry with Drake. It became tunnel vision at times with Drake. Yeah. Get Pitts involved. I thought Pitts was open a lot. And Penix just never saw it. So the one thing I can take, if it's a positive, is the emergence of Kyle Pitts in this offense. And if Drake can't go next week, he's going to certainly have to play a bigger role. Yeah, look, Day-Day, Owen, it felt like we waited too late to make him a bigger part of what should have been, in my opinion, a 10-catch day yesterday. First of all, let's give Kyle Pitts credit, okay? He got thrown to 8 times. He caught the damn ball 7. So it's not as if Kyle Pitts was not catching the rock yesterday. Give him credit. But it should have been a day where he could have caught 10 balls and you probably should have thrown to him 12 times. But instead, it was like, okay, break glass. Here we go. Drake's out. We got to go somewhere. Right. He should have been in the flow of the game already. But I agree with you on that, Mike. And Day-Day and Owen, I felt like, everybody was reacting on social media in the moment. And guys, let's be honest, like, even that last drive, it took damn near miracles for us to get in position to score. Yeah, it really did. And a lot of people, I know we're going to get to, the end of the game, as you all said, but the reality of it is we really, if it wasn't for their kicker missing the extra point, we don't even have that opportunity. So we're not even really talking about the end of the game the way we will be today. But obviously, that was something we needed to see. Maybe that's what the deal is. Maybe we needed to see that end of the game. So I know we'll be getting into that, but the reality of it is we had so many opportunities to really kind of, really kind of control this game. And we just kind of, I feel like we lost our footing. And it was good, to you all's point, it was good to see the rhythm that we started to get late in the game, but it was like we needed that consistently all throughout the game. And we just had that lull that just was like, oh my God, these guys are like, they're struggling. And we lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like, in hindsight, you lost to the what is it, 4-time defending champs? Like, that basically is a loaded roster minus Chris Godwin and Christian Wirth. No, it's I thought also, Carl, on the defensive side, they did a lot. That was good. I thought Harrison early in the game. I don't know about the rotation. We'll talk to see what Ulbrich says in the post game. Yeah. But now we had Pierce Jr. and we did get to see Jalen Walker, but they were only basically third down situational. Yeah, situational guys. And then Caden Ellis, he had Baker Mayfield and couldn't let him wriggle out. I love Caden. Caden's one of our favorite, most consistent players. But he's got to make that sack. And he's also going to make that pick. And so I thought if the offense does its job, we know Baker's going to score. Baker's going to wiggle around, and he did what he does at the end of the game. We just didn't have enough of a buffer to ride it and see it out. I mean, they went through us like poop through a goose, Carl, and guys on that last drive. That was Baker doing what Baker does. He's a hell of a player. What did I tell you at camp about these guys not starting every play? Remember we talked about it, Mike? Day-Day, we were at camp, and guys, I said to Mike and Day-Day, I said, I don't think they're going to play as much as people think. Now, maybe as the season goes on, we're talking about James Pierce Jr. and Jalen. As the season goes on, obviously, they're going to get a bigger grasp. They're going to feel more comfortable. They're going to play more. But week 1, you were under the impression as a Falcon fan, like, these guys are going to be out there and getting pressure every down. And they didn't. So they became situational players, and then we didn't get any pressure. And, for what it's worth, I mean, even the blitzes really didn't work. We got one sack, guys. No, we didn't get to eat. There's a couple times, too, you watching Pierce rush, and I noticed, too, Hugh Douglas used to talk about, hey, don't lose outside contain. Don't lose outside contain. And a couple times, so that was James Pierce made a move to the inside, couldn't get back outside, and you see Baker go right on outside that pocket and get a nice little run for a first down, something like that. So I'm going to say this, though. We got one in Xavier Watts. No doubt. We got one in Xavier Watts. Right. So he played well. That back half between him and Jesse looked really, really good yesterday. Now it's just a matter of, are those other rookies going to come around at some point or another? So, yeah. Hey, one other thing, guys. I noticed this, and I said it on Twitter during the game. It's my show notes, Carl, as I'm tweeting, so I can remember this stuff. Rook Orororo getting just swallowed up. If you watch in the line, I saw that to Oren's point with James Pierce, just watching these guys get enveloped by the Bucs offensive line. And I'm looking for Rook to kind of, just be a factor. And I'm just not seeing that the penetration in the middle. I think Anyamata was okay, but maybe the coaches will see something different on the 22 film. But yeah, that was a little underwhelming at times. And then combined with on the other side of the trenches, our inability to move Vita Vea and their interior line. In the battle of the trenches, I thought we lost it.
Arch made a good point this morning talking about Vita, and he was like, the times that we soloed and went one-on-one against Vita, it was a wrap. Vita destroyed any and every single play. So they had to have two guys on him the whole time, and I don't know, maybe that kind of changed the game plan or how they block things at times too. But anytime it was him, and Lindstrom's one of the best guards in the league, but even Lindstrom trying to go one-on-one against him, like you just saw him just envelop anybody that was doing one-on-one against him yesterday.
Yeah, look, there are guys in the league, whether was Aaron Donald, right? Whether it's Jalen Carter, prior to Spitgate, Vita Vea, that you just can't block one-on-one. That's just what it is. And if you do, you're taking the chance of speeding up your quarterback. The times that Michael Penix got sped up are the times you saw that pressure coming straight in his face. Right. He was able to step up and maneuver and make plays with his legs and evade pressure from the angles. But yeah, I'm with you. Oh, and I did not hear Arch talk about that, but that was something we were concerned about on this show going into this game, because we kept talking about Vita Vea. And even though we had faced him and we blocked him well over the years, yesterday he picked his spots and he was dominant. Guys, we couldn't run the ball. And that is one of the big side stories. And then the reason why we get back to this, and again, this is about 15, 20 minutes, guys. We invite you to join us today, 2 till 6. We're just giving you a behind-the-scenes look of what's going on before we get in today. But this is where the shift has to go to the coordinator, and it gets us back to Zach Robinson. How do you create that? What do you do? And how do you create some other plays for a team that's struggling to run the football? And, the offense can't just be shut down. There are going to be other weeks like this, guys, and we don't run it well, and we got to still be able to score points.
And the problem is you didn't have Mooney. So once Drake went out, as we said, with the good news is positives, emergence of Pitts, great playmaking for Bijan, maybe more quick hits to Bijan. Should have got him more involved in space to get. Remember how we used to get Julio on those wide receiver screens just to get our playmaker in space, and then the pistol. If I never see the pistol formation again, it'll be too soon. and I hate it, and I hate it. Carl, we've talked about it all the time, Day and Oren. Short yardage, and you're 5 yards off the ball. It drives me freaking crazy, and there's no reason to be doing it with Michael Penix.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, well, you brought up the fact that Pitts was able to emerge in the passing game. Also, I want to give a shout out to Casey Washington because he looked good too. He had the one I wish he could have held on to it on the drive where it got popped out. But other than that, I really thought he was kind of my guy that kind of stood out. He was phenomenal in practice. We had the chance to talk to him, and I thought he really looked good. And as someone that also kind of, because that was the question, who's going to step up just in general? With Mooney being out, but then like you said, you lose Drake late. Ray had a great game productively. Offensively, I think we're going to be okay with this receiving core.
Yeah, I do too. But they got to be healthy. That's going to be the key. If, God forbid, we go into next week, and by the way, it's a Sunday night game, so we got all week to chop it up and get ready for the Vikings. But if we have to go into that game with no Mooney, which right now, who knows, and no Drake London, it limits us, guys. And I don't care how good we think Penix is, and I think he's damn good. It's going to be a problem to try to not have an explosive offense or play. So either way, we got a lot to get to today. Join us, man. Dukes and Bell, we're on Monday through Friday, 2 to 6. Again, we got a lot to get to. And yes, we will talk about all the things that you want to talk about in regard to the Falcons and much more. Make sure you're there, 2 o'clock on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game.